Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movies entitled Orphanage. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing some children playing in the courtyard of an orphanage. Inside the building, a nurse receives a phone call from a woman who intends to adopt a girl named Laura. The woman said that she would come to pick Laura up soon. As time passed, the orphanage was no longer in operation, and the scene shows Laura, who is now married, and has a husband named Carlos. Laura and Carlos bought the orphanage building and lived with their son Simon. Simon has imaginary friends named Watson and Pepe. Both Laura and Carlos thought this was normal for a child his age. That day, Laura took Simon for a walk to the beach near her house. Armed with a flashlight, Simon explored the cave by himself. In a dark tunnel, Simon seemed to see and try to communicate with something invisible. Simon seems to have made a new imaginary friend from the cave. Not long after, Laura called Simon and told him to go home immediately. On the way home, Simon dropped a shell which he thought was a clue for his imaginary friend to search and find their home. One day, Laura was visited by an old woman named Benigna. The woman explained that the purpose of her visit was to treat Simon's illness. It is known that Simon is not Laura and Carlos's biological son, but an adopted child. But Simon doesn't know that yet. So to keep the secret, Laura asked Benigna to leave them. Upon Benigna's return, Laura opened the file she left behind. And here, it was discovered that Simon had been diagnosed with HIV. That night, Laura woke up because she heard something coming from the warehouse. Laura then walked to check the situation in the warehouse. There, Laura was surprised by the presence of Benigna, who was suddenly there. Don't know what she was doing, but Benigna seemed in a hurry. She left, leaving Laura, who was confused about Benigna's intentions. That morning, Laura woke up and found many seashells in front of her door. This confused Laura, and she thought Simon might have done it. In the living room, Laura conversed with Simon. Simon said he didn't want to be an adult, because Simon wants to keep playing together with his imaginary friends. Simon also said that his imaginary friends numbered 6 people. Simon continued that each of his friends held a treasure belonging to Simon and started a game by leaving a clue so that Simon could succeed in getting his treasure back. If Simon succeeds, then they will grant one of Simon's wishes. Simon then said that he had lost a gold coin with a clue in the form of a box containing Simon's baby teeth. Laura accompanied Simon to finish the game. They found sand in the place where he kept Simon's baby teeth. Then they searched the piles of sand around the house and got another clue. They found a key that Simon knew was the key to the kitchen drawer. How happy Simon was when he managed to get his gold coin back. This means Simon can make one wish that will be granted by his imaginary friend. But Laura thought Simon had set up the whole game and asked him to stop laughing. Simon immediately became angry and said that Thomas had told him that Laura was not his real mother. Laura was speechless, and together with Carlos, they revealed the truth. Today they threw a party and invited a few people to celebrate. Upstairs, strange voices continued to affect Simon, making him feel that Laura didn't love him. Laura asked Simon to come downstairs and gather with the guests. But Simon insisted on taking Laura to see Thomas's house. A little argument made Laura spontaneously slap Simon in the face. Then she left him. A few moments later, Laura, who felt guilty, returned to pick up Simon. Looking for him in several rooms, Laura still did not find the whereabouts of Simon. At the end of the hallway, a boy in a strange costume, who she thought was Simon, came closer to her. Suddenly the boy pushed Laura and closed the door loudly, making Laura's hand pinched by the door. At that moment, Laura grabbed a cloth from the perpetrator's torn shirt. Soon Carlos came to take it out. Then Laura continued her search to the beach. Laura saw a child in front of the cave, who she thought was Simon. Laura, who panicked, rushed over to him, and without realizing it, her leg got a pretty bad injury. Carlos came to calm her down and said no one was in the cave. Carlos then took Laura to the hospital for treatment. A psychologist named Pilar, who was working with the officers, promised to find Simon as much as possible. Several possibilities can occur, and Pilar will investigate Simon's disappearance, starting with Benigna, who she thinks is using a fake identity. Back at her house that night, Laura exited the room because she heard someone's footsteps. Laura also hears a mysterious voice from the direction of the room. Together with Carlos, they found a doll covered by a blanket on the bed. Then the scene moves to 6 months later. Simon has not yet been found. All the searches that were carried out did not get results. Some strange visions and sounds experienced made Laura begin to believe that Simon's stories about his imaginary friends were real. While driving, they saw Benigna in the middle of the road with a baby carriage. Laura then called out to her, but unexpectedly a car suddenly drove by, hitting Benigna's body and killing her. There, Laura found a doll with a mask exactly like the one worn by the child on the day of Simon's disappearance. Then the officer found several rolls of film in Benigna's house. It is known that Benigna was a nurse who worked at the orphanage then. She had a son named Thomas, who had a facial disorder, so the boy always wears a mask in his daily life. One day Thomas and his friends were playing in a cave. At that time, the children took off Thomas's mask, hoping they could see his face when Thomas came out of the cave. But in reality, Thomas never came out of the cave until officers found him dead floating in the shore waters. That night, Laura talked with Carlos, remembering the first time Simon came into their lives. She saw someone behind the bathroom door, causing her to panic. And when the door opened, Carlos came out of the bathroom. Instantly, the atmosphere becomes frightening because of who is actually in bed with Laura. The next day, Laura believed that Simon was still alive. She goes to someone who is an expert in the supernatural and asks for his help to find Simon. Pilar also joined them. The ritual begins with Aurora in the room, opening the mind's eye to see and know something invisible to the ordinary eye, while the others watch her movements from the CCTV monitors. Aurora began to walk down the hallway and several times heard the voices of children in the house. In one room, a child sounded like he was scared and asked Aurora to save them. Aurora slowly opened the door and was surprised. Aurora said that she saw 5 children crying in terrible conditions. It's like someone at that time intentionally did it to kill the orphanage children. After the ritual was over, Aurora said that she saw everything that happened in the past, including the 5 orphanage children who were still there, but she didn't see Simon with them. Then Aurora asked Laura to find the gate to the other world in the house by following the clues from the voice she heard. The next day, while on the top floor, the window suddenly closed with a loud. A shard of glass fell on a crate with several dolls inside. Laura's name was unwittingly engraved on one of the boards. Also, a picture of her with Simon as a clue. So Laura knew that the children wanted to play with her. Laura then followed the game and found some more clues. Until finally, Laura arrived at the warehouse. There she found Benigna's brooch that was left behind. Laura then forced open the wooden door of the warehouse. Laura also took out several sacks that were inside. Laura was surprised to find the jaws and skulls of several children in the sacks of ash. Laura handed over the case to the officer. She realized that Martin, Rika, Alicia, Guillermo, and Victor were her friends from the orphanage. She suspected that Benigna was the culprit who killed them to avenge the children's game that killed her son Thomas. After this incident, Carlos intends to leave the orphanage, while Laura asked for 2 more days to relive the past with the orphanage. Laura plans to communicate with the spirits of her friends and find out Simon's whereabouts soon. Laura rearranged the layout of the orphanage and the furniture as it used to be when she was there. She reassembled the wooden dolls. She rang the bell to signal the time to eat together. Then Laura sat at the dining table with her friends' dolls filling their seats. So long waiting at the dinner table, Laura did not find any sign of their presence. Then she took the initiative to start the game they used to play as children. At that moment, there was a sound of movement. And Laura saw they were behind her. Laura chased after one of them and made her intention known. Laura questioned Simon's whereabouts, but suddenly, the child disappeared inside a warehouse. The door closed quickly and trapped Laura inside. Looking for a way out, Laura found a door with a staircase that led her downstairs. The atmosphere was tense with the presence of several figures in the darkness. There, Laura found some pictures and a photo of Benigna with Thomas on the wall. Then a voice distracted her. Laura walked towards the source of the sound and found Simon hiding there. Simon asked Laura to stay and play with them. Ignoring his request, Laura picked up Simon to take him away from the house, but many strange noises kept disturbing them. Suddenly the sound disappeared instantly. There was silence, and Laura realized that what she was carrying was just a blanket. Laura found Simon, who was lying stiff with a dried-up body. Laura remembered when Simon asked her to come to Thomas's house. It is known that on the day of the incident, Simon went down to the basement by himself. And above, when Laura was looking for Simon, unknowingly, an iron blocked the door and made Simon trapped and dying in the basement. This incident made Laura so sad. Laura then took Simon to the bedroom. Laura took a few pills with a high dose of medicine to cover the guilt in her heart. Moments later, Laura got up and made a wish. Laura asked for Simon to come back to life.
Deseo que vuelva Simón.
Just then, a light from the tower dazzled her eyes, and a girl was in the yard. Laura was surprised when Simon came back to life. Simon said that he had finished the game and made one request, that Laura stays to take care of Simon and his friends. Suddenly, Laura's 5 childhood friends, plus Thomas, came to her. Then Laura started reading fairy tales to them. At the story's end, Carlos brings flowers to Laura and Simon's graves. Then upstairs, he found Laura's necklace that fell on the floor, and then the door opened. And the movie was over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like and comment.